Hey, folks, and welcome to Never Split the Party. This is Season 3, Episode 10 of our Starfinder campaign, Mostly Harmful. If you have no idea where we are, what's been going on, you can check up all our past episodes on YouTube at bit.ly/neveryoutube. You can also find all of our episodes in Audioland, wherever you prefer to find your audio podcasts, including Spotify now, at bit.ly/never podcast. That's the iTunes one, but if you just search up Never Split the Party podcast in your favorite app, you'll find us. I think. If you don't, let us know because I'll fix that right away. If you want to support the show, like everyone else and their mother, we do have a Patreon at bit.ly/never Patreon. Don't take that as a recommendation. That's just the link. And right now, we're switching up some of our benefits. For the most part, I'm working on doing some GM articles. We have our after party episodes that are all available through our Patreon. And we'll be rolling up some more things as we revamp that. We're kind of changing up the tiers and going down to, I think, only 2 tiers of patrons. Mostly because I'm the only content creator and I'm fat and lazy. The fat part you didn't need to know is just true. Uh,
Don't forget bald.
has nothing
Just
to do with my
generally
motivation, but that's
a
fair.
shit stain of a human.
That's fair.
Just bad.
Bad. Our Starfinder campaign is in its twilight season. We'll be transitioning to something else afterwards. We have an audio podcast that we are working on. I don't know what will be on Twitch after that, but we'll figure something out. I know I have some guest campaigns that I'm working on, including a Persona RPG campaign. I might eventually pitch a Gundam campaign. Oh, that's probably going to be audio only, so I don't have to steal art for that.
Those have all been going on for a long time.
You mean commission art?
No, I meant steal.
Wow.
Well, you can't commission art for Gundam because all those likenesses are owned. So it's stealing even if I commission it or try to use it. It's not kosher.
Gundam adjacent.
It would have to be Gundam adjacent, like our friend Rusted Chrome did for us for Starfinder. Our Starfinder mechs came from one of our lovely viewers who contributed some work, which was awesome.
Gundarn.
Gundarns.
Hey, guys, stream did die.
Oh, stream died?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably because I killed off my VPN, which was still going halfway through.
Yep.
So
yeah, I was doing a couple refreshes and then
So Dustin's gonna have to restart.
Me?
Yep.
Restart what?
Because the recording stopped.
Oh no, the recording's still going.
Oh.
Yeah, he can always just stitch recordings together. That's not a problem. Are we going now?
Should be.
We're live.
Yep.
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, there we go.
It actually didn't start right away either. So like Dustin was mid monologue when it started. Oh, cool.
All right, well
hey,
maybe you do have to
everyone.
start over.
Yeah, I'll just start over. It's fine.
Hold on, we need the countdown.
3, 2,
5,
1. Let's jam.
go.
Welcome, folks, to Starfinder Night. It is Season 3, Episode 10 of our Starfinder campaign, Mostly Harmful, not Cowboy Bebop. And I was talking about a whole ton of stuff that maybe you saw and maybe you didn't. I will quickly sum it up. We're on YouTube. You can find us bit.ly/never YouTube. We're on audio podcast. Just search your favorite podcast app for Never Split the Party podcast. We have a Patreon if you want to support the show at bit.ly/never Patreon. We have a new audio campaign, a superhero themed campaign coming out soonish. We're still playing around with things, but hang out in our Discord for more info on that. Twitch will transition away from Starfinder once we finish up this season, but we'll find something else to fill in the gap. I know I have a Persona RPG fan campaign I'm working on with some of our lovely viewers, including Shadow. Hi, Shadow.
Hello.
And I'll have some other kind of guest opportunities to have come on and do some campaigning. That might be what our Twitch turns into, is just kind of more fun, loose streams where we bring on other players that want to experience a format or a game type, and I just run it for them. I think that's probably what it's looking like, but we'll see what happens when we get there. We still have the rest of this season, which is probably another 10-ish episodes. To get caught up from where we were last time before I let the party introduce themselves, just to switch it up. The party was dealing with the ramifications of Raish Oren's death, which was a number of things, but the highlight being when Rex unlocks some secret hidden programming as part of Rye's hidden eulogy he had kind of packed into Rex's programming. And now Rex has assumed some class levels, is now walking in a bipedal stance instead of on treads, and sometimes not wearing a freakish Rye mask, as he has now activated Rye protocol. Patrick's new character, I know it says Reich Oren because I haven't updated the overlay, and very likely won't. Um, the overlay, sure, he's wearing a Rye mask, but he's playing Rex for the foreseeable future. I'm not going to address it right now, but for some reason, the overlay looks like it's windowed and not full screen on Twitch, or is that just me?
I think it might just be you.
Oh, cool. Then that's just me going crazy. That's fine.
Yeah, looks
you're
fine
cool.
to me.
No, that's fine. Not going to fight it. It looks weird AF on mine, but
Well, so do you.
I'll allow it. All right. My name is Dustin. I also go by the Arbitrary Nerd. I am the GM for this campaign and most campaigns. I'm also extremely tired tonight, so I'm going to do my best. I'm going to let my lovely cast introduce them.
So you only do your best when you're tired?
themselves.
That explains why everything's always shitty.
Ouch.
I'm always tired, so I guess I'm always doing my best.
Oh, well, there you
That makes it worse.
go.
My name's Justin. I play Seeker, the android technomancer, who is dealing with the ramifications of Rye's death, mostly by blowing up his casket and body in space, because that's what we did. Because it was a Viking funeral.
The murder that
space.
you could have avoided but didn't.
Huh?
But no,
I didn't murder. No, that's not how it went.
I'm just spitting out things that people might have observed, not.
If they didn't look too closely, of course.
Made the Yosoki fly.
Speaking of Yosoki, my name's Chris, and I play the Yosoki mechanic known as Miller Three Top, formerly known as Miller Dotward Abigail Priest.
Wait,
but what? This is not your time.
I know.
Patrick.
I just muted
This is
myself. I messed up. I had a question and I forgot you were in the intro.
Anyways, yes, I am a Yosoki mechanic, and Miller is dealing with trying to keep everybody focused on the rebellion and not on the fact that our captain just died and then became a robot or something.
And I'm Michael, and I play Zero, the android operative, who was, gonna actually have emotions, and then Rex happened.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
No. I told you that you needed more time, Dustin.
That wasn't me. You activated Rye Protocol. I was going to let it roll for a while.
That's not true.
That's not what Pat was telling us before you joined.
Yeah, before you
you went
joined.
straight into it.
No, I didn't. I left a gap, and then someone else was going to do a thing, and you immediately said, "Oh, but something else happens." I have.
Oh,
video
maybe you're
proof,
right.
You son of a bitch.
No, because I told you.
Anybody who watched the
hold
last
on.
episode, please let us know who is right. Dustin.
I'm pretty sure.
We're gonna post it on Twitter.
No, wait. There was the follow-up, and then
So I did jump the gun on one line, but that was I believe in the second portion. You specifically prompted his program boots up. I was going to let
I'm
that
going to go
roll.
ahead and double check that and call you out later.
I look forward to it.
I don't think you will.
You're right. I'm going to forget, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
I'm pretty sure you were Rye.
I was.
I
Once.
don't know
Not anymore.
Nick, have you introduced yourself yet?
No, I wasn't entirely sure if Mike was finished with his
Mike, did you
introduction.
finish introducing yourself?
Yeah, it was good.
Alrighty then, my name is Nick, and I play Dren, the Marikoi Solarian captain of this fine vessel.
Nobody's fighting.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah, wow, I expected.
I don't know about that.
Well, I don't like to interrupt people during their intros.
I don't know about that.
Hi, I'm Patrick, and I play Rex, not to be confused with Rex. Rex is Rye's, what did I call it? Ryesh Eternal Experiment, something like that. I forget.
It's eternal.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was experiment. Yeah.
I
It was better
formerly
than that.
played Reich Oren, who was the captain. Now I play Rex, who is programmed to be the captain in the captain's stead, kind of like a vice captain or.
Ooh, we can go with that, vice captain. Yeah.
To the deceased captain, not to the pseudo captain that.
You don't actually have to add captain to Dren's name. Nobody
Slug
believes
monkey
it.
wants to be.
You know, you missed a good opportunity to like rename Rex as like, or respell Rex as like WREKS or something.
I thought about it, but
That'd
then
be
I
pretty
was
good.
just
Though.
stretching it too much.
I mean,
Oh,
it
wait,
was
but what-
original RX. He just put an E in the middle of it.
No, but guys, this is the episode where we find out that there's like dust covering the model on Rex, and there's actually a W there.
I like that.
What is a Cuisinart? This is a Cuisinart.
A Cuisinart is like a rice cooker. Like I've got a Cuisinart.
Like a rice oven.
Yeah.
How come the robot says Sunbeam?
Oh, I thought you were actually asking that.
Oster,
No,
yeah.
no, Justin, come
I didn't
on now.
detect any sarcasm in your voice whatsoever, so that's why I
Well,
answered
you are an
like,
android.
That's-
like, oh well, if you don't know, a Cuisinart is actually a pretty nice, pretty handy piece of equipment that you can have in your kit. No, I'm done.
So what's happening today, Dustin?
Yeah, right.
So, when last we left off, the party had stopped off at Mr. the Drow drug dealer entrepreneur, Secret Cache. Cache? How do you say that word?
I always pronounce
It's
it
cash.
I'm going with
Cache.
cache.
Or
Sure.
I always
Cachet.
thought it was cash.
Secret stash of stuff, and inside they found some money, some junky loot, some drugs for Seeker, and the last of the trio of black boxes required to unlock some Zero secrets. We'll see what happens there if that ever gets unlocked. From there, they were reached out or contacted via a delayed drift message, I believe is what we said. Was it a phone call or was it a message? I can't
Just a
remember.
message.
It was just okay. So it was basically a banked message, which was broadcast from Zolan Gurguritz, who is the leader of the Eoxian Third of the Triumvirate, and he has been ousted from Eox after his regime mishandled the most dangerous game show, and he has now been sequestered on the Turn, which is in the Diaspora. He has invited the Pact Breakers, as they are sometimes known, although not necessarily accurately, and invited them all to meet with him on the Turn to help adjust his situation. He made it seem or sound that his position in the Triumvirate was either in danger or no longer viable, and he was looking for alternatives with the party. You also were on your way to the Diaspora yourselves to meet up with your gang of pirates that make up the armada of your resistance movement. I had assumed, though feel free to adjust if you need to or pause me, that when you left Mr.'s floating storage container, that you were going to meet up with your pirate gang in the Diaspora, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have any issue with me fast forwarding it so we arrive at the Diaspora?
At some point throughout the trip, I would approach Miller to activate all the black boxes.
All right, let's do that in scene. Okay, so you guys get back on the ship after leaving the storage container. You stash your new loot as appropriate. You put cash into the coffers, as it were, and you start assuming your roles. Rex still functions as pilot when in pilot mode, so he is at the helm of the ship. In the captain's chair is either Not Sob or Dren, whomever got there first.
They're both in the seat.
I'm okay. with that.
Well, actually, doesn't Rex not allow that?
Correct.
Oh, well, then they've brought in two different chairs into the captain's that sit next to the
That would
captain's
be
chair.
acceptable.
So Dren has a captain's chair. There is an empty captain's chair, and Not Sob has.
No. No one gets the captain's chair.
Well,
No, we brought our own.
they brought their own chairs. The captain's chair itself is empty. All right. We have your crew doing their jobs. I'm not going to worry about the NPCs right now. They're just going about their deal. I believe you have sequestered Mr. Not in the cargo hold anymore. I believe you brought him up to a brig station, which is near your rooms. I believe that was the most secure location. So if you were going to activate the black boxes, Zero, and you're trying to do it in secret, I'd recommend your room or the ship cargo hold.
Well, I was most likely just going to do it in like Miller's workshop because I assume that's where he'd be.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. If you go into Miller's workshop, you just see him clipboard in hand as he's frantically scrawling on paper, kind of racking his brain and crossing things out and writing some more stuff. And yeah,
It's at the back of the ship, J-Man.
yeah.
All right, so as he's doing that, Zero walks in and simply just says Miller. And then I pull out the black boxes, showing that I believe I have 2 connected already.
Yep, you did have 2 connected. That's how you realize that they, or how they connected anyways.
All right, and then I say, I was going to activate this 3rd one.
As soon as you say Miller, he takes his clipboard, just kind of tosses it aside, and yes. How can I help you?
You've heard of these, and I show the black boxes.
I believe I have, right? Maybe.
I'm not sure if he was.
I'm sure you probably brought it up.
All right.
Yeah.
In case anything funny goes on, I wanted at least one of us here. And as far as Seeker goes, he seems a little against anything related to the Nate line.
Yeah, a little squirrely, yeah.
Or Nat line.
Yeah.
Anyways,
do we want Nat involved?
I'd suggest just the 2 of us for now.
All right, I'll keep him safely locked in that safe over there.
My robot ears perk up.
Anyways, so with him here, I tell him to be prepared in case there's any type of wireless hacking, stuff like that. And then I plug it in.
Sure. All right. So as you plug it in, these 3 briefcase-sized boxes connect, and they begin to fold in on each other. So they connect side to side, making 3 just right next to each other, and then they kind of fold in. So it's 3 on top of 1. And when they are overlapped and connected, something internally, which you can't see anymore due to it being covered, shifts. And on both sides of the now flat black surface, the matte black surface, it's a series of coordinates.
All right. Looking into the coordinates, where do they seem to lead?
So you have 2 sets of coordinates. One of them, so you got like the basically what the top you're looking at and the bottom you're looking at. Which one are you going to input first?
I guess I'd put in the top one first.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a. Let's see. How would we do this? Give me a perception check real quick. We'll go with that. And I want this to be from 0 solo.
All right. Nat 20, so I got a 37.
Okay. You notice that on the top side that you're looking at, as you're about to punch in the coordinates, you realize that there is like one symbol off from being a traditional coordinate in the Starfinder lingo. I think you quickly become suspicious. It's part of your nature. It's very likely that if you were to put into your computer system, would trigger some sort of virus or something weird. It's used as a trap that you're familiar with for dead drops. Again, it's pretty obscure. It's an old school technique for older starship tech. Most starships right now would filter it out, but you recognize that it is kind of a busted trap. But when you flip on the other side, it is a traditional set of coordinates, and when you punch it in, they lead to a very specific spot on the surface of the planet of Octurne in the Pact Worlds. Octurne is the farthest planet. If you actually, I'll put you guys back to the map. 1 second. If you're looking at the map, it is the farthest planet away from the sun. In this map, it is in the upper right-hand corner. You know that it is an organic, or it's known to be like an organic style world with it's inhospitable to living things for the most part. Its atmosphere is a toxic yellow green. The size of the planet is it always changes. It swells and contracts. The land twists. It's a pretty disgusting planet that is almost universally panned and avoided.
Like it was designed for androids to live there. Maybe not live, but
I wouldn't say it's designed for
anything.
Yeah, anything would be probably. You guys know that the most common thing that live there are Orocorans. That's a pretty common thing. I think you might have encountered one once. Let me see if I can pull up a picture and I'll put it in for chat. Oracor. Actually, J-Man, can you put this thing? Oh, I did it bad. Let's try this. I just want to see the image, you bastards. Why you gotta be so difficult?
So yeah, as we're looking into all this, Miller kind of speaks up a little. Hush, what the hell is bringing us out to Octurne? What do you expect to find?
So all I've heard so far is that it has something relating to who I was before. Seeker believes it to be a way to bring back NAP 2.0.
I put in the image in the chat. I sent it to Justin in the chat as well. If you could pull it up, perfect. I believe you had one of these on the hull of your ship at one point. I may be mistaken, but these are the most well-known natives to Octurne.
They look familiar.
And they look like
I don't know what
for
it is.
audio people.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting lazy and tired, as I told you. All right, so the Orocorans look like twisted kind of flesh monsters. They almost look like a human-sized grasshopper with their rear legs twisted in the wrong direction with two massive, gross toes. They are a dark, fleshy color. Their four claws, which they walk on all fours sometimes, and sometimes they walk on their hind legs. But their four claws have three talons. It looks like they end in, and their heads are, I guess the closest thing I could say, are spider-like. They have several eyes, like a spider. It looks like six eyes, six gross green beady eyes, and their mouths split predator-like, revealing a massive teeth, almost looking like the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. In
It
fact,
kinda
that's
looks
probably
like-
the easiest way to say it. It looks like the Demogorgon from Stranger Things with
Yeah,
a
I was gonna
long.
say a demigorgon mixed with like one of those little water things, little water bugs that kind of
Yeah.
skirt
Oh
along
yeah,
the water.
little
I could
skitters.
say a Demogorgon water bug with a proboscis-like tongue.
Yeah,
Or I don't know if that's a tongue or not, but it's an appendage coming out of its
it's pretty
mouth.
gross, whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It probably bores into your brain and sucks it
Can
out
I have
and
one as a
liquefies
pet?
it. Yeah,
I don't believe so.
yeah, absolutely. I'll allow it.
The description from Starfinder is it resembles a wingless, four-limbed mosquito with a long, flexible, sharp-tipped proboscis. That it. Well, I'm not going to go into that. That's specific stuff. It's in a probes. Yeah. So you guys are aware of them. Octurne is a pretty unfriendly place. Most people tend to avoid it. The people who do go there are generally, again, you guys would have some of this information, or you could quickly do a quick Spoogle check of it. It's common for cult worship, dark cults to old gods or gods outside of the known universe. Your boy Nyarlathotep definitely has some pull there. And you're familiar with the Dominion of the Black, which is a pretty big cult, which is probably I think its biggest base is on Octurne. It is not a friendly place. It is a completely lawless place that has no government whatsoever. It is as close as you can get to an evil planet.
So don't bring what's his face there.
The kid.
Yeah,
Oh,
don't bring the kid
oh,
there.
come on. Princes just need some hugs from an elder god.
So what's your plan then?
I suppose first we should still focus on at least what's going on the turn. This can wait, at least after that.
I suppose you're right. If we survive this.
Unless, of course, there's something there that could help. That's the only thing I'm wondering.
We can bring it up to the others. The others meaning either our party members or even space pirates, Crimson Blur, etc.
Hiding things that never worked in the past. We should bring it up to the rest of the group.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't. I like when you guys hide things.
Then we have no character development for like 2.5 seasons.
I don't like character development anyways. Jeez.
Dustin liked it when it all just came out at once, like a year and a half later.
It worked for me. Didn't work for you guys. That's fine. All right. So what are you guys doing with right now?
How close at this point would we be to what you call it?
On the turn?
Diaspora.
The Diaspora. You guys had made a pit stop. I believe you were 2 days travel away. So this would have happened sometime during those 2 days.
All right. Well, I guess since we have a whole day, there's no point in dragging it out. I would bring the whole group together and bring it up.
At
Right.
any point, are you alone with the box?
I mean, I would assume I would be.
At some point when you leave Miller's presence and you are in a space where you are alone, the black box emits a quick green light. You didn't notice it before, and it blinks for a second. It blinks for another second, and then it does a scan, which is to say you clearly see green lines trying to check over your body. Do you do anything?
I Well, I was about to say, I guess I'll attempt like an engineering check to see if this is harmful, if it's trying to implant anything, like electronically, stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah, give me an engineering check.
35.
I'm going to assume as an Android, you can run some sort of diagnostics and you quickly do so. But you identify relatively quickly that this seems to be a harmless scan. It looks like it's trying to ascertain data, not have any other adverse effect.
In that case, I'll allow it to continue.
All right. It takes a second to focus in on your face. When it finally finishes its scan, it replaces the coordinates, the trap coordinates on the top of it, with an image. Quick question. Are you going to tell the others what this image is, or should I have everyone take their headphones off?
I guess have them take their headphones off for now, and I'll probably tell them after.
Headphones off! All right. The image is twofold.
I want to hear that's an evil seeker.
The first thing is the face of a very evil-looking seeker fades in on that. Again, it's a black matte surface. The numbers fade away, and then comes this picture of a particularly darker-looking seeker, where seeker usually has a happy face even when he's working on the job, including his old assassination missions. These features are severe. There is a scar across the bridge of the nose going from cheek to cheek. And one of the eyes is actively discolored, and there's some cracking around the edge. We'll say it is the right eye because that's what I'm touching right now. But otherwise, it looks pretty familiar to Seeker. It nods once to you, and then its image is replaced with the image of a mecha design you have not seen before. So you currently have 4 mecha in your in kind of what you own, and this is showing a mecha that looks to be, if the scale is correct, substantially bigger than the 4 you have, and bigger than any of the generic mechs, the mass-produced mechs that the Border Space Union has been using.
Are you trying to make a Megazord?
It's not quite a Megazord. I actually never liked combining robots. I hate to say it. So no, it isn't going to be a Megazord. However, digits flash on it, and it just says, oh, I have a name for it. Oh, I'll have to find that later. I'm just going to say the digits pop up as 000. And then it fades back. No longer the trap number. It is just a flat, black, opaque surface, and the mini broadcast is off. I'm assuming it's obvious, but it's attempting to, when you're alone, show you some of the things you might have access to. It's trying to get you to go to the location. I think you get that there's a message there. It's not being clear at all, though, other than evil-looking seeker. And
the evil-looking seeker, do I think this just looks like one of the line, or does this look like him specifically? Because I mean, I imagine all of them have had some relative different features.
They all look a little different, right? It's subtle. They're not carbon copies. So there's slight differences. Maybe the hair is worn a little bit differently, and the shape of the brow is slightly different. But mostly it's the same face, just darker and
I'm just gonna make them.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's funny. All right, so I think
watching Twitch. Did you see it?
You can infer that it's probably the image of Nat 2.0, who may or may not be your prior version. I don't remember. Did we ever confirm that?
I've always been skeptical,
Okay.
but that's about it.
All right. Do you have anything you want to pitch at me before I bring the guys back?
No, I think that's all I can really learn from this point.
Yeah, that's it. I wasn't trying to give you much. I mostly just wanted them to panic.
That's why I tried to do the thing to add it.
You've done wonderfully, sir.
So we're all doomed or what?
I've never been more proud.
You've done wonderfully.
All
All
right.
right. So how spucked are we?
Yeah.
Well, Zero does gather you all, or I guess Zero and Miller gather you all in the communal room towards the back of the ship, not far from Miller's workshop area, in the common area where there's a table, your kitchen, etc. And Zero, how do you want to broach things to the group?
Did the top change back?
It went to a blank surface.
Okay. So I'll actually have the side with the coordinates up then.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I'll say, so I put these together with Miller, and we have coordinates to where these are supposed to lead anyways. And it's the planet, was it Octurne?
Yeah,
Octurne.
it's Octurne.
And that's what you got out of the black boxes?
That's it, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
What
I'm
is
glad
that?
it didn't just immediately turn you back into Nat 2.0. That would have been terrible.
Or even worse, like explode or something.
Yeah, that would have been pretty bad too. Except
I
an
fully trust
explosion
all
only
of
happens
you.
once.
So my question for all of you is, do we want to go there sooner, or do we want to continue on to the Diaspora first?
Now, out of character question. So space travel is arbitrary through the drift, right?
Arbitrary, and then I roll a d4, and that's how many
Right.
days it takes.
Now,
It's a small amount of time inside the Pact Worlds, I believe, as well.
what was the planet we were just on?
You were on.
React-
Reaxis.
Thank you.
Reaxis? Okay. Okay. Then at that point, it doesn't matter to me what we aim for first.
Oh, in system's 1d6. Sorry, travel in system is 1d6.
So,
amount of days.
what do we plan to do on Octurne?
See why it's trying to lead us there, or rather me there.
Okay. I mean, I guess that works for me at some point, whether it be before or after, I don't mind, because that might give me a little bit of closure as well, in a manner of speaking. But, gotta be very, very, very careful, because I don't... Nobody knows what's gonna happen when we find whatever this is. Anything
Which
to
is
do
more or
with...
less why I want Miller there.
Yeah.
Because whatever it is going to end up being computers or engineering related. So having an expert such as him.
But no, not me. I mean, I'm a technomancer. That's kind of my thing. Okay, I see how it is. Fine. Jeez.
I turned to Miller and I
Yeah,
go,
but isn't Miller actually still better than you at this stuff?
Like by 1 point.
Actually, probably we're tied now.
What are you
21 for computers?
for computers?
Yeah.
I'm
My
pretty sure
computer's
mine's
21.
the same.
21? Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah,
it's
I gotta-
22 once I put a 20 in
All
it.
right. Yeah, I was gonna say I got my skill boost and then
Mhm.
a class upgrade to it. So yeah, you are slightly better in computers.
so
Nice.
I turned to Miller and I go, can your friend Don at the casino wait?
Well, I am not one to make people wait, especially for a rebellion that we're currently leading right now.
And I don't know if the leader of the Eoxians can wait either. That's a good
Yeah,
point.
but
if we were
Isn't
going to
he
go with
the
that.
only one we're actually trying to meet?
You haven't connected yet with the pirates in the Diaspora. So as far as you know, they don't know Rye's status, and they may be more aware because that's where the
Familiar
ground
blurs, right?
forces were going to meet up. So right now you have a small gathering, and when I say small, it's actually pretty significant in size, happening in the Diaspora, kind of at your behest.
So yeah, I think it might be more important if we give a status update.
I'd agree. We can always go to Octurne at any point. Just know that if anything happens, if we go to Octurne and we see Nat 2.0.
We kill him.
Yeah, yep. That's immediately happening as soon as possible.
But here's another thing, though, too. In our current condition, I do not think we are even prepared to step foot on the planet.
Now, another thing that we can bring up is you only have this location because of those black boxes. Who else is going to know about this location potentially?
Based on how secret they've been and how afraid the people who gave them to me are, I'd assume no one.
Then it makes all the more sense that it'll still be there if we put it off till a bit later.
Yep. And that's nothing against you, Zero. I have nothing against you at all. And I know you want to know your past, but I'm telling you, this is bad news. So you have to understand.
We still can't be sure that I am who you think I am.
That's true.
Or you who you think you are.
Or I am. Nah, I'm done with this.
I am the walrus.
Okay.
Cuckoo
Well.
Kashub.
No, that's the bard character we made.
That's true.
True.
That is actually their name.
What?
It is 100%.
Yep.
If you guys go to on the turn, you might meet them.
Or-
What?
Right, well, first off, let's make our way to Diaspora. Let's meet up with our pirate friends.
All right. One bonus: if you guys take longer to get to Octurn, I can build out that encounter a little bit
Mhm.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have general notes for it. I could do it now. I can give you guys a little bit more of a. I've got a callback series that I'm looking forward to there, and I think it'll be fun.
Yay.
So I would say table it, but in terms of appeasing Zero, it would be fine in my book if you guys were trying to make it maybe something you did after on the turn, because you don't
Yeah.
know what Gurgritz is going to ask you to do, but
No, we definitely got plans.
you don't have anything time sensitive after that. But your meeting with the pirate gang should probably take priority. Good.
And I just
Yep.
want to make it perfectly clear that Seeker is coming from a standpoint of like worry about Zero because he
So
likes
what
Zero
color is he?
and doesn't want. It's probably just normal color.
So
Just talking
rainbows?
normally.
That's a secret,
Blue.
Cap. He's always worried.
Yeah. But yeah,
That's
definitely
Justin.
That's
worried
Justin.
because he likes Zero and doesn't want Zero to go away and if anything happens.
I'm looking forward to it, but that's fine. For now, I'm going to assume you have all made it to the Diaspora. The remaining days of travel have passed for the in-system drift jump. You exit the drift, and you are met by the almost welcoming sight of the sprawling asteroid field known as the Diaspora. Many groups use these large chain of asteroids as their hideouts, their secret bases, their home away from home.
There's supermarkets.
Yeah, there's supermarkets. There's even a cluster of the rocks that form a semblance of the original planet, which is like all in water and everything. It's a very expansive place, and you guys have been using it as a base ever since you got back into the Pact Worlds. You meet up with the Mothership, which is the name of the ship the pirates you guys have buddied up with use. In terms of what your forces look like right now, because as you approach, you are kind of welcome to them. There are many transport ships flying throughout the sector of rocks you kind of have cordoned off for your group. I have forgotten the original name for the pirates, but they have just transitioned from calling themselves the Resistance. If you guys ever want to give them a more colorful name, feel free to do so. They'll actually go off of what you say legitimately, but they've been using the general moniker that the Triumvirate has actually applied to them, which is resistance, in terms of they resist progress. That is the universal message being given out, which you'll catch on broadcasts every now and then of the resistance and these folks who resist progress for the Triumvirate and the Pact.
They originally called themselves the Alphas.
They are
Thank you.
now the progressives.
The resistance is made up of so the first you had that pirate gang, the Alphas. they had pretty good standing, and they've recruited many smaller pirate gangs, which allows them to recruit continuously bigger and bigger pirate gangs. You have a bit of a Genghis Khan situation going on where they have just adopted all these different little groups where they've made up a pretty sizable armada. Again, it really doesn't compete. If you were to ever go toe to toe with 100% strength of the Triumvirate, they have the overwhelming power of the Eoxian fleets, as well as Vescarium ships, and then whatever the Border Space Union provided, which is a significant number of ships. But in terms of engagements, you have weight to throw around on the space front. Also, there are many new additions of smaller transport ships, which are flitting in between the bigger ships or laying moored up against other bigger ships. And you recognize some of them, anyways, as having markings. As in being made from Triaxis, which is a lot of your ground forces. The bulk of them have actually now joined up with your space fleet, meaning you actually have the ability to launch some operations if you so choose. I don't have any pre-planned for you, but if you ever want to say what's going on this planet and see if you want to make some waves, or if you ever find use for dropping an army on people, you have a bit of an army here that, at least on a quick smash and grab, can do pretty damn well. You don't have a ton of leadership is the problem. I believe you've given some names out, and hopefully they will be arriving to help command the ground forces, but right now you are a bit limited on that front. As you are arriving, the mothership flags you in to come on in, and you land the Spirit of Shirket within one of its large hangars. This is, again, like a dreadnought class vessel, the mothership. It is a massive adventure. Next to it is the dreadnought known as Sobernaut, or the Sobernaut, which was previously known as the Infinitum. It is equally as large as the mothership, if not a bit bigger, and bristling with weapons. More seem to have been added since the last time you were at the Diaspora.
And most of them held together by duct tape.
Almost all of the new ones, and they all look rusty AF. The ship itself is clean, just the additional weapons are not. It's like when the Serenity takes on all the Reaver weapons at the movie that Nick needs to watch.
Frozen?
Serenity?
Not until he watches Firefly.
Yeah, you do need to watch the show first. All right, moving on. As you disembark from the Spirit of Shirket, the first thing you see is a dashing space pirate wearing an open kind of cloak-like shirt, nothing else in terms of his top, so you see bare chest, wearing tight space pants. And when I say space pants, it's like pants for a spacesuit. He looks like, as we've said in the past, an old melodrama space pirate from a TV program.
Wow, that's very nice of you to describe me that way.
He's got glorious flowing blonde hair, and he speaks in a bit of a trashy accent, and he says, "Tell me it isn't true. It can't be true. Where is he?" Dustinian has approached you looking very upset.
It's true.
Does Rex have the creepy mask?
I believe Rye took it off last time. Sorry, Rex took it off last time. Correct? No mask?
Correct.
No mask.
Okay.
So they,
yeah.
but I think you were trying to force it back on, or one of them was.
Oh,
I
I don't care if you have the mask or not. It doesn't matter to me. It means no difference. If you're ever going to try and.
I just think it would be kind of funny.
Well, that I was
one character keeps trying to put it on him.
Oh, I'm okay with that. That can be more of a pin the tail on the donkey situation. I'm fine with that. But for now, I'll say no mask for the purpose of the ramp. So Miller, you were saying?
It's
on
true.
the walk up, he tries to put the mask on.
It's true. We're moving past it. We got to continue.
What do you mean continue? How could this happen? They're saying he was killed by Oda Shen. What?
Well, I mean, Oda Shen's Oda, sure, but we killed Oda Shen first. But it doesn't matter. He's dead.
Dustinian looks crestfallen, bordering depressed.
All I know is I wouldn't be here if it weren't for him.
He snaps up at the sound of your voice, which does have a wry overlay. What is this then?
Hi, I'm Rex. Not to be confused with Rex.
Why do you sound like Rye?
Because it was Rye's last will and testament or something like that. I don't move past it.
Rye knew that everyone would miss him terribly. So I'm the program that's designed to keep people happy. And remember Rye forever, because I can live forever, just like this.
We can't shut it down.
No, they can't.
Also, can't shut it up.
Also true.
Did he say anything about me?
I'm supposed to
Rex,
watch
did he
you
say anything?
suspiciously and not let you near me too much.
All right, well,
He said you had great hair.
I'll take it.
He said you'd miss him terribly.
We'll take it.
He also said, seriously though, keep a distance.
Thank you, not to be mistaken with Rex. I'm going to go be alone right now.
You can
Seeker,
just call me
before he
Rex.
leaves-
But don't call me Rex.
Before he leaves, I open up my arms. Do you want to? I feel just terrible myself. Do you want to hug?
I hug him.
Actually, Rex doesn't. He just says, I hug him.
Actually, Dustinian would accept the hug. That'd be fine. Yeah, he does go in, and it's a very big close-up hug. Anyone looking from the outside might see a little bit too much contact, honestly.
I eye him
Do we see a
doesn't
little-
suspiciously.
Do we see a small jealous captain somewhere?
No, Laris walks into the hangar as well. He ignores it entirely. He's used to Dustinian shenanigans.
Miller
for
does
those-
walk past Dustinian, give him a quick pat on the shoulder as he walks by.
He
I
kinda-
tread by and I give him a quick pat on the shoulder.
he's just very confused by you right now. He's not sure what to make of it. He kind of looks back to Laris, his captain and his partner, and he shakes his head. Dustinian shakes his head at Laris and walks off. Laris is a gnome who suffers from alopecia, meaning he has no hair whatsoever.
He looks like Dustin.
I have eyebrows, dog.
They're drawn on.
And facial hair to a degree.
That's fine. Laris walks up. He's better dressed. He's got like straight up like captain gear, like it's excessive, kind of pirate style, like still a little bit TV show aesthetic, but at least he looks appropriately dressed.
Dren appreciates it.
And he puts his hands on his hips. He looks up at the party, and he says, "Well, that's one down. Are you out of the fight?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
No.
All right. We got shit to do. Let's go."
Let's go.
All right. If you have not seen it yet, maybe you have. He's leading you back to the command area of the ship. I forget what the place where the people are. Cool. The bridge. Sure. He's leading you to the bridge. And as you walk through the very long, large ship that you've been through a number of times, he's giving you the rundown. And he says, I don't know if you've seen it yet. The Triumvirate have been putting out some propaganda, thanks no doubt to their Eoxian news corps. And they've been pushing out that Ray Shorin was a terrorist, nothing new there. But they've been glorifying Oda Shen's role in his death and have been claiming that they have struck in a mortal blow to the terrorist forces of the resistance. I was hoping one of you, as the face of this little get together, might be willing to go in front of a camera if we were able to get one set up and talk back.
ooh! I have the perfect person for it. In fact, they have two faces. Points at Miller.
Well,
I was
hold
also
up-
going
I
to
hold up the mask.
volunteer, Miller.
I have two faces.
Ew.
What in the galaxies are that? Or is
Move.
that?
Move past it. We don't know. Somebody. I
It
feel
looks
like
like
we
it
should burn
came
it, but
from. Never mind.
yeah.
Having him talk in Rye's voice
I-
bubble.
I put the mask over my clamp
Oh, no.
and begin to
So you don't have clamps anymore. You had actual
over my hands
articulated arms attached, thanks to Stevenson.
and I am the face of Rye.
Man, how are we supposed to move on from this when this thing, this abomination that Rye left behind, you know what? Move past it. Move
Hey
past it.
guys, question for you.
What?
Was Rye known as a good
Howard?
programmer?
No.
No, not at all.
I'm starting to think some things went wrong.
Hey, Pat, make a will check.
Make a will check.
As Miller furiously types away in his wrist communicator, I assume. Is the
Yeah.
pad, yeah.
Hold on.
Don't be a 20. Don't be a 20. Don't be a 20. Damn.
27. Why? What were you trying to do?
Just stun you.
Oh.
Miller at level 9 has unlocked the ability to hack some.
I can override androids, drones, robots, and creatures with the technological subtype.
So everybody except for me in the party.
Basically. Well,
Yeah.
you rolled pretty high for that.
What does that do?
Well, you just get stunned. I was trying to shut you up.
Unless you like roll the nat 1, in which case he controls you.
Oh yeah. Then I do control you for a round.
Oh, gross. So I just continue. That was weird.
Anyways, during our travel back here, I was able to scroll something down. If you need me in front of a camera, I could do the thing.
All right. We have. Don't know how you boys are going to take this, and whatever you are. He addresses Rex.
That could have worked for Dren too.
I also don't know what he is, but he's scum, so it is what it is.
I have a lot of it.
Oh, Larissa like waves his hands. Oh, get that off my ship. He flags down one of the cleaning droids that just follows you around.
Oh my God.
It just sits there vacuuming your slime.
Well, so- if there's like a chair that's nearby, I'm gonna sit down in the chair, just like take my shirt off, just let it go to town.
Yeah, it does. You actually have to pick it up though. It's like one of those mouse droids in Star Wars, so it's only on wheels. So you have to pick it up like a handheld vacuum and you Roomba yourself.
Done.
Luris gags as he walks away.
Yeah, you get used to it.
I keep forgetting that that's a thing.
I've
get one of
actually
those-
figured. What was that?
Can we get one of those cleaning droids for our ship?
Well, actually, I figured out a way to turn his slime into an alternate fuel substance. So, what these guys don't know is we've been powering our ship for the past couple weeks off of Dren slime.
That's useful.
It's very useful, and it just doesn't go away. It just does. It's miraculous.
Is this canon?
It is now.
It is now.
There might be some engineering checks that need to be made, but
Plus 24, it's fine.
I'm not going to fight it too much.
Plus assistance from at least 2 others, so make that a 28.
It was like Futurama using a.
Yeah,
poop.
Yeah,
basically.
nibbler poop.
I think
Yeah.
it's more just Miller thinks that this will work and he adds it to the fuel.
Ugh.
I don't really think
It gives it an
fuel's a
extra kick. It's like
thing in
nitro.
Starfinder, so it's probably more like he uses it as lubricant, and it works great. The engine parts work
Fantastic. Yeah.
beautifully.
Yeah.
So it's useful in perpetuating a perpetual motion machine, maybe, sure.
Yeah, but the engines now always smell a little funny.
That's all right. I've been living
Man.
with I've been living with the goblin for the past couple weeks, so it's fine.
So
I don't
probably
smell
smells
anything.
a little better.
You're right, Justin.
Thank you, Justin. All right. As Larissa walks on, he says he leans into Seeker, whom I'm gonna say is closest. And he says, "By the way, if Dustinian sees your robot doing the Rye puppetry, that's not gonna go over well. Just a heads up."
Oh, he's already seen him. It wasn't doing the puppetry though.
Yeah, that's just, if you can at all avoid setting him off, when he gets in his moods, he's simply untenable.
Would it help if I made the mask better?
I was half tempted to give him the mask, but something tells me that would be a terrible idea.
Could you make a copy?
No.
Oh,
Then probably not. All right, let's just get on to the business end. All right, I don't know how you boys are going to like this, but we had some Eoxians after your soiree at the Most Dangerous Game Show break off from their greater army. These were members who were press ganged in, so they say, and were never a member of the Bone Fleet. I don't know how, is it the Dead Fleet? I think it's the Dead Fleet, right?
I think it was the
Yep.
Bone Fleet. You've been calling it the Bone Fleet.
I think it's actually the Dead Fleet, but we'll use the Bone Fleet going forward. It's
Someone
an actual.
should ask the DM. He'll know.
Nah, he doesn't know shit.
How about the GM?
Yeah, the GM probably should know better. Starfinder has there's like basically a sort of excommunicated group of Eoxian admirals and warships, and they were I think the Dead Fleet, and we'll say they transitioned to the Bone Fleet maybe when they took over control of Eoxian space. So,
Corpse Fleet.
is it Corpse Fleet? Fine, something to do with dead things. Thank you. It is the Corpse Fleet though, but we'll go with the Bone Fleet now. They've transitioned to Bone Fleet with their taking because they wanted to cast off the name Corpse Fleet. These folks who broke off were not ever members of the Corpse Fleet. They were press ganged into it, the Bone Fleet afterwards. We took them in as we're pirates. We don't give a shit, and they had the ability to hook up some rigging for some communications. I will say we're going to have to enter the drift for a brief moment, pop out anywhere not where the ship hangs, and deliver this, because the location where we deliver this will be immediately blasted through all of the triumvirates, radios, communicators, what have you, and our location will be immediately compromised. Would you say your speech is under 2 minutes?
I can say that's definitely doable.
right.
Couldn't we simply record it, prepare some type of broadcasting device, leave it there and flee it, and just leave the broadcasting device there?
Well, the issue is to get it to push through and force itself upon all of their communication arrays, it needs some more serious equipment. If I had a room-sized drone ready to go with all the equipment needed, I could. I decided instead to put it in the mothership itself, just in case we ever needed to broadcast our activity.
Good old mom.
This would be a slightly different use. I just simply want to try and get ahead of the propaganda. You're not wrong. Maybe we can set up a relay system going forward. That's worth looking into if we can get a team of engineers on it. But for now, we're using what we have. They had to build the communication array inside one of our unused spaces.
Oh, speaking of the Bone Fleet, by the way, we've got Guritz kind of contacting us about maybe working together, joining our resistance.
I hadn't realized you had already heard that. That message was caught by one of our agents as well and intercepted. It's been on repeat, a slightly subtle version of the repeat. It's been looking for smaller ships like your size with the Spirit of Sheer Ket. But again, it's been hitting pretty much anyone who's asking. So my only concern is there may be others who know. It's also almost definitely a trap, and we do have some plants on the turn. Everyone in the diaspora does. In fact, everyone who's anyone has someone at on the turn.
I have a couple people on the turn.
It is a bit of a
Turn himself.
I mean, at that point, he's more of a politician than anything else. I don't know if you're going to get what you want from him, but maybe you know him better. I won't judge that little rat bastard. But
hey.
I will say it is a bit of a neutral ground. Even the Triumvirate has forces there, as your Goblin can attest. But they generally can't make overt actions. So if you went in a little on the subtle side and you weren't too obvious, I think we could arrange the meet, but I still think it's a trap. I can get you in contact with some forces there, some people in place. They might be able to help grease some wheels and maybe give you some coverage and maybe help you even feel out if it's a trap or not. But you're putting yourself on the edge there.
Right.
Yep, that's why I wanted to ask you about it, because not quite sure how bad it's going to be there. So we're gonna bring it up so we can all talk about it together and figure out a course of action.
You'll go on a burner ship if this is what you want to go. You'll go on a burner ship, one of our transports, maybe one of the ones that came from Triaxis. I don't have a preference. We will put you on it. We will drop it in their landing area. We'll park it, valet it if you must, and leave it. We will assume that ship is gone to you and no longer a viable exit strategy. I think I can get one of our elements there to have a ship prepared for your departure, so I can at least guarantee an escape route. However, that's about all I can really truly guarantee. It's mostly neutral ground. I just don't know what kind of sway a powerful entity like Zolan Gurguritz has. He's easily the biggest bankroll there that I can think of. Someone who used to run EOX and still technically does, if sort of unofficial right now. He's probably king of that castle at this point.
He's also probably the hardest one to kill out of the three, considering you can't just kill him. You have to kill his whatever it is, phylactery.
Before I opine on that, Miller, you have something to say?
Yes, on a completely unrelated note, you've mentioned that they've been putting Rye on blast, so to say.
Yes.
Any word on Oda Shen?
My understanding was that
Af-
Seeker put him on blast.
Not true. Not true. He starts crying.
I'll be honest, they're being pretty tight-lipped. Oda Shen has been confirmed killed. They have confirmed it on their end, which has boosted the resistance morale, but the loss of Rai has also damaged resistance morale, as we knew it would. That being said, we've heard some rumblings in the Vescarium side of the Triumvirate. Without Oda Shen as their linchpin, I don't think Gerson and his Gerson sphere have quite a lockdown on their ground forces anymore. The Vescarium was making up most of their shock troops, where the Eoxians made up most of their fleet. So I think if we were able to work fast enough, we would be able to take advantage of that in terms of any ground assaults you had in mind. And if you don't have anything in mind, we can do what pirates do best in some guerrilla warfare in some of their maybe less fortified areas in the Pact worlds. We'll quickly stir up the hornet's nest, but never know what we'll find.
Well, I think that might be our best move right now with our forces so low.
We also met up with, I think her name was Captain Sal. I'm kind of getting lost with all these Sals. She, I don't know if you noticed, we had one of the warships from the Ouroboros gang out where Pistol used to be. They've come on. They've been pretty decent folk. Don't seem much like pirate folk, if you know what I mean, but we're teaching them the ways a little bit more here and there. And Sal herself went off saying something about, what was it? Some armaments for your machines. She might have a lead there.
Excellent.
We might be, unless you have any objection, supporting with some ground assaults, specifically with the intent of picking up some armaments.
Oh, sounds great.
Don't mean to put this on you guys. I know you're doing a lot. I'm happy to give over command to someone else. Right now, your friend, the Vermilion Blur, hasn't actually made contact. A couple of his lieutenants reached out to us when they arrived, saying that he was running some defense for everyone and trying to make sure that they were going off somewhere. He was a distraction. So I haven't heard from him. We don't have any leadership for the ground troops.
Worst comes to worst, we can lead them.
Okay. I need someone to make a decision if we support Sal or not. I'm not really willing to risk these lives. They're not mine. They're not my boys.
Well,
they're not my gals.
see.
They're not my robots. They're
back in the day. Rye was the first one to step up and kind of turn their heart over. I think it'd be a good idea if we trust them.
Trust who?
Sal and her group.
Oh, I think we could trust her. She took the communication thing out of our ship. That was actually broadcasting stuff to the Vescarium. Or the BSU, I should say.
Did she not also, out of character question, did she not also take something out of Rex?
I believe she might have fixed some of the stuff that was done to Rex as well. Yeah, I think so. Because I think pretty much after her, he stopped having multiple personality disorder. Till now.
Well, that lasted for a while.
Didn't fix it well enough.
A voice deep inside of me says, please trust her. Also, have her fix me again. Weird.
Sounds good. absolutely do that.
It is screaming adamantly.
I don't mind. I don't mind putting her in charge. She seemed like she had a pretty level head. Not sure how much she is for combat, but
I wouldn't trust her with combat stuff, honestly. She's more of a scientist, really, right? I mean, she's more of an engineer, sort of a...
The
like,
voice
"They
inside of
sucked."
me is screaming, "She lost to Rye." No.
we need to get you on the Microsoft text to voice.
Microsoft Sam.
Microsoft Sam.
Yes, thank you for when you're doing your internals.
No.
All right. Whatever works. I was more looking if one of you wanted to just okay the operation, really. But I don't mind putting her as coordinator until we get the Vermilion Blur back. And if you guys have any other contacts that come around, we can sort them out.
I
I've
think she would be
taken-
better suited elsewhere, honestly, because, like we said, they weren't very much for pirates back then. They kind of, got their butts beat by us. Pretty
Again,
bad.
really just
Yeah.
looking for an approval on the operation.
Yeah, I would say Dren's pretty good at combat stuff, right? What do you think, Dren?
You trying to send me away?
No, to give okay for this. I don't know, whatever. Why are you
Justin-
asking me all these questions?
It's
I'm out.
okay.
Justin doesn't understand what's being asked.
Rex puts
right
a
I
thumb
actually
up.
don't.
He
Rex
literally
puts
is
a thumb
looking
up.
for. All right, I'll go
Yeah.
with the creepy looking robot then.
That's what I thought. We just wanted to.
I'm assuming that's a thumb up underneath the face mask, right?
I was just gonna say that. No. The thumb comes out the mouth.
Oh, okay, that's obscene, but I will go with
Question.
that. Yeah.
Have we got any new recruits from Triaxis? Anybody of the Riforian nature?
We had some contacts come along with some of the ground forces as they were being extracted from Triaxis. We have a pretty decent line in for the nobility of Triaxis, be that what it is. If the Vescarium is actually considering pulling out of the Triumvirate, they would leave Triaxis pretty much defenseless, and we'd be able to assume control of that planet almost immediately. It would have to actually it would require the Triumvirate to put some real resources into retaking it at that point.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think we're actually well positioned. If that comes down to it, Triaxis might not be an awful place for either, if not a final stand, a decisive one.
All right. Well, that's all I got. When it comes to the ground troops, who wants to take care of it? Jen, you want it? You want it?
Done.
All right.
That's what I was trying to say.
Good job. High five.
You need to work on your communication.
I can blow things up.
I have taken on
Alright.
role. Larissa brings. I've taken on role as admiral, collecting all of the disparate ships and groups. We've got a decent armada when we need it, but for the most part, I recommend only using us for guerrilla warfare
Correct.
until you know for sure it's the last battle. But
Oh,
if we can get to the last battle before anyone else realizes that's what's happening, they're going to be in for a rude awakening. Having this little fleet in the diaspora so close to home, they're not going to like that.
out of character, where is the base for Gerson Spear?
As
base
far
of
as you
operations.
know, Derlith Gerson has been spending time on the now partially destroyed Absalom station.
Oh.
Yeah,
Alright.
Absalom was struck by one of the domes from Pistol. A lot of it was shattered and destroyed, and many people died. Derlith Gerson, last time you knew, was there,
All right.
and he's been set up some sort of base there.
Excellent.
All right. And for... Does anyone have anything else for Larissa before we pop out and do the communication drop?
Nope.
All right. He's going to pop into the drift. So basically, he navigates to a place where you guys are kind of away from any gravitational sources. He has the crew enter the mothership into the drift. You pop into the swirling vortex of this other dimensional plane that allows for travel throughout the system. And he pops out maybe an hour later. I think you guys are traveling for an hour along with the ship, getting a rundown of your time on Triaxis, maybe some stories swapped of Ray Shorin and his antics and their favorite plays and etc. And then you pop out. A quick science officer check at the station reveals that you are in a kind of basically a no zone in the packed world. There's no drift beacons, no planets that are really in the vicinity or even going to orbit by you anytime soon. I think if anything, the trajectory you'd be closest to the Adari, the Kasathan world ship. Larissa shrugs. This is as good a place as any for me. He looks over at you, Miller.
Yeah.
You
sounds
ready
good
for
to me.
this?
I'm ready for this.
All right, let's get going. He leads you to a room. It's one floor down from where you are now and a couple of rooms back. And the entire room is full of communication equipment. And it all looks, it's all like made out of black metal. It's almost as if Gothic architecture was applied to a radio. And that's what this entire room looks like. Almost like the alien hive,
Right.
except with radio equipment and 3 Eoxians constantly running around the room monitoring different things. They don't really pay you any mind other than to nod at Lahris when he enters. The room itself is well lit in an area that is clearly for filming. There's a little stool you can sit on. There is a mic set up you can attach to yourself. They have you well set up, and there's some cameras pointing at this corner of the room.
All right, just I'll get situated. Just give me a countdown.
All right. One of the Eoxians speaks up as he's working. He's just turning knobs, looking at things, monitoring levels, and he says, just so you know, this will be displayed to all systems in the Pact worlds using the BSU's, the Triumvirate's new drift communication relay.
Fabulous.
They've left a couple back doors in, and really it's the only way for them to be able to talk through folks in the drift, which was honestly revolutionary science, but they're paying for it now. You'll get backdoored in. We'll be tracked pretty quickly, and I don't know. I mean, we shouldn't have any forces in the area to worry about, I guess, but don't take too long. And remember, everyone in the Pact worlds is seeing this. We can't broadcast too much further than that, but I don't know why you'd need more.
Right. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to give you a countdown. Hold on. You ready?
Yes.
All right. 3, 2. Oh shit! Hold on. You're in the wrong spot. Let me make sure that your camera is. All right. Okay. We've been going for the past 2 seconds. Go. You're on.
Hey folks. My name is Miller Three Top, formerly known as Miller Dotwood Abigail Priest. For over a year now, the Vescarian leader, known as Oda Shen, thought she had killed me. Well, she is wrong. She was wrong. Oda Shen is dead now. A group known system-wide as the Pact Breakers successfully infiltrated Shen's headquarters and disposed of the oppressive she-beast with the help of our own Ray Shorin. The assassination was carried out near flawlessly between myself and my team, but not without sacrifice. I broadcast this to everyone, to our allies, to our oppressors, and to the oppressed. Ray Shorin has been killed. He was captured and tortured for nothing more than Oda Shen's own amusement. For her last dying breath, she ordered the head of Reich Oren. He fought valiantly to the end. It took a squadron of no less than 15 heavily armed guards to take out our leader, who was bound and shackled. Through it all, he never gave up trying to free us from the tyranny of the Gerson sphere. Ray Shorin knew the consequences of his actions. He fought for liberty and justice. He fought to release those prisoners of Eox. He fought Derleth Gerson, the man who systematically segmented and launched Pyramid Station Alpha at our homes, killing friends and family alike. We will free the prisoners of Eox and dismantle the Eoxian fleet. I will kill you myself, Gerson. Know that we are coming for you. Or so help me, your fascist regime shall come to an end. We set our sights on Darlith Gerson. Our numbers grow by the minute. We will secure our freedom. Do not mourn the death of Raishorin now. Rye was a great friend, practically a brother to me. The last thing he wanted was our sympathy. What we need now is to come together for the cause. We need all to help. We need all the help we can get. Find our members. Ask what you can do to help our cause. Help us. Help you. For now, we must wipe away our tears. Our grief and frustration take up arms. Rest in peace, Rice Oven. May your acting career flourish in the afterlife. And the transmission.
You got it. No, wait.
Are we still live?
Yeah, hold on.
Oh. What can I
Now
help
we
for
got
you
it.
guys?
Nope, it's good. They missed that. They didn't see that at all. I'm sorry.
Oh, should I take two?
No,
All right.
the finger
to the
gun. I
top?
got everything out. That's
Oh.
golden. Hey boss, we got a jet now.
All right, let's go. Boom.
Larissa nods and kind of takes you guys all to the room. You guys pop in for another. Actually, this is going to take you a little bit. So the fun nature of drift travel means that even though you only traveled an hour, it takes you. I don't have any d6 because I brought them to magic. It takes you 1d6 days to get back. Let me roll that. Slash roll 1d6. 3 days. Your hour-long trip in the drift takes you 3 days to cover back.
Now, was it just me in the ship, or was it the entire crew?
Everyone from the mothership went aboard with you.
Okay, all right.
So your crew, their crew. It was a bit of a moment. Everyone claps as you guys leave and you head into the drift. You get a round of applause throughout the ship as they all heard it. You get a couple of accolades as you're walking through. A couple of people think you probably could have been a little bit more violent. Could you roll me a diplomacy, I guess? Whatever, I guess diplomacy would be the best one.
Rex has a grammatical point correction to make.
Yeah.
Hey, Miller. I noticed that you said me and my crew. I believe the correct terminology is Rise crew and I.
I wouldn't know. I'm not a grammatical person. I've never been the face of this group here. If you wanted to get up there and say something, you should have gone up there and said something.
I detect anger.
He just walks away.
Rex is Baymax from Big Hero 6.
I like that. I detect anger. That's it. That's all I got there. And I'm not going to do anything about it. All right. So I see you rolled a 16 on the D20.
So it's plus 10, so 26.
Okay, that's actually pretty good. You probably managed to sway a decent number of people, at least all the crew around you who are already having an affinity for you. Applaud what you said. Definitely something you could have been more militant, and others worry that you have in some way rehashed old ground because this isn't the first time that you guys have broadcast yourselves out to the verse. But it is a sign of progress. You did take down Oda Shen. There's no denying it. In fact, the triumvirate have not in any way denied it. So yeah, I think you'll see again if you guys interact with the general population, maybe you'll get some good stuff there. As you are arriving back at the Diaspora, Larissa does point out, I probably should have saw this beforehand, but Miller, you're gonna need a disguise if you're going to On the Turn.
Yeah, you're right.
Kind of just blasted your whole face on
Sure
everyone's computer.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you have disguises?
For me?
Yeah, you were disguised in the on
have-
Triaxis.
I've been programmed to hand you a large hat. He starts looking for a hat.
He gives it to Seeker.
Well, that was like Rye, so it makes sense.
You're right. So I mean, I have the ability to change my suit at will, and I can push a button. And now I'm a cook. I have like a chef's hat and everything.
I thought you looked like a halfling.
That large hat will do.
That was because I can do a little bit of magic. Remember?
Ah, yeah, I remember. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Can't you just do that again?
I can, but I mean, only if we're going to be in there for a few minutes.
If you're going to be acting, you should start with some vocal warm-ups. Repeat after me. The tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips. The tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips.
You don't even have
Tip
lips.
of the tongue, the
Have you not watched season 7 of Letterkenny yet, Patrick?
No, not
You
yet.
missed a very good opportunity for a Letterkenny reference. Thank you, McMurray, that piece of shit.
Oh yes, I did see. I watched that first episode and I enjoyed it.
All right.
I'm not sure how bored I am with this robot yet.
I've been programmed to provide you practices that would remind you of Rye. Does that not make you happy?
Those are Nate tasks, right?
Says Dryne, who has never actually encountered a Nate task. I like that he's got the paranoia still.
Well, I can definitely help you disguise yourself a bit if you want, with my artistic talents.
I could use all the help I can get. I ain't much for the creative type unless it comes to machinery.
Dustinian at this point, like sachets onto the bridge. Saunters. Let's go Saunters. I like that a little bit.
We
better.
make sure that Rex does not have the mask on his hand.
It has been several days, so I think we're probably out of that window.
We don't know.
We don't know for sure. So Justinian comes in and he has seemingly overheard the conversation, and he says, "Well, we've got an idea to disguise you. We think we could do this quite well if you want to come with me, my little rat friend."
Yeah. Let's figure something out.
Marvelous. All right. Roll
You
your-
wait.
Your distance.
We should probably get disguises.
Should
for
I keep my
everybody now.
distance?
No, I don't.
Oh,
I
All right.
we don't think that's much of an issue. We're not looking to shack up with the furrier kind. Not really my type.
Thank you.
Now
Someone
the
please put a coat on me.
Hey,
I-
at least the feeling is mutual. Let's go, bud.
I am coming around to the robot a wee bit, I must say.
The
What? It's got to have a vibrate function or something.
Robosexual marriage is terrible.
the hand with the mask just goes behind the back.
Hey, I like that. You figured out a way to shut him up. I like that.
He winks at Miller, but no one else. All right. Miller, you put yourself in Dustinian's care for the costume. You are going to enjoy that.
I'm going to love it.
All right,
Did
so
you
you get
throw
that
a
all.
sheet over my head? Is that what's going to happen?
You know what? It's 10 o'clock. We got a little bit of time. I'll tell you really quickly what he does. He takes some lotion that he has used for self-tanning sometimes, and he keeps
Oh my.
It's not like a
Right.
vial of like Dren slime, is it?
It is not Dren slime. It is like a copper-toned, like again, like a suntan lotion, which he uses to gently dust over your fur, anywhere that your fur is exposed, a little bit up your sleeves, your neck, your chest, and it starts turning to an orange hue. Your fur, which is normally, I believe,
It's
gray,
grayish.
brown?
No, grayish brown, but he does have a red stripe up the nose.
Surprise! This is actually Nair.
So he's.
I was thinking it earlier. I low-key hoping.
It's not even that bad. That's not a bad idea. I kind of regret not going for that, but that would have maybe not have been everyone happy. No, so he makes your entire skin, or like your fur and a little bit of your skin, where it can be seen a orangish hue, and then he pulls out a wig that almost looks like it is to mirror his own. It is bushy and it is blonde, except he pins the long hair up top, so it kind of does like this comb over.
Oh
effect.
no.
And he sticks it right on top of Phyllis. There's enough peephole with like where the loop of, so Phyllis isn't completely out of the picture, but no longer visible. So you are now a small, orange-furred, blonde wig-having mother trucker who is ready to take on the turn. Take on the turn. There you go.
You know, I own some of these buildings, the best buildings.
I knew that's where you were going with it too. As soon as the orange, I was like, yeah, I know it. Yep.
Yep.
There was a 0% chance, but I'm like, the hair fits. It covers Phyllis fine. You get it to be poofy. You look like a bit of a
My
fun-
favorite part about this was that when we started this campaign way back when, one of the very first episodes, I started making a Trump reference, and Dustin shot it down to, he's like, "You get the one. You get the one."
Hey, we're in the darkest timeline, Patrick. Several years have passed. My skin has become hard and my soul dead. We can now.
Become?
Family show.
All right. So you've broadcast your message again. You haven't interacted with the general populace in a while. You've had the Rye
And I
message.
don't want to.
Yeah, you've got a whole lot of things. There's a lot of conflicting things going out there, but I will say you've been outrolling the Eoxian broadcasters. They've got pretty crappy stats.
Sweet.
They're not charismatic. What they are is they are influential, which is slightly different. But with you being able to broadcast pass, I think you'll find that public opinion turns in your favor. So on the back end, it increases your recruit numbers for a final conflict if that comes about. And if you ever needed it, don't forget, people know you now. Remember that. There's something there. All right. Do you have anything else for Larissa, the pirates, or the gang? Again, no contact from the Vermilion Blur, even when you arrive back 3 days later.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm good to go.
All right. You guys, so this is not requiring drift travel. You just travel through a circuitous route throughout the diaspora. You definitely make sure that you are covering your tracks. You are taking so you're leaving the Indecision behind yet again. Are you bringing the B crew? Are you bringing your support staff on this adventure?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the very least, Sovereignaut.
Okay,
yeah,
Sovereignaut.
Sovereignaut's definitely a go.
And,
Parentheses.
and we're gonna bring Rex.
All right.
We have to?
Support, backup, last option crew. Rex will also come with, sure.
Oh no, I meant the other Rex.
No, the other Rex, not to be confused with Rex. You've got Stevithan. Are you bringing Terry and Forenses?
I think Terry likes it on the mom.
And I don't think we
Mothership.
want to risk Forenses and
No.
Okay, so you leave the 2 younger members behind.
Yep.
The dwarf
Probably
and
for
the
best.
human-ish.
Yeah.
Plus, Terry also likes the.
What are we doing with Mister?
VR.
Oh, what are you doing with Mister? They didn't even deal with that. They totally ignored the fact that they let a prisoner go immediately after.
Oh yeah.
they pushed it. In fact, I'm going to say Larissa intentionally is avoiding that topic. What are you doing with Mister?
We should. Have we asked him about Gurgurits yet?
I don't
I
believe
don't think so.
Whether. Do you guys, maybe we should ask Mister about Gurgurits, see if he knows anything we can use against him, or if he is to be trusted, which probably isn't. But
And remind him that his deal is gone since he's no longer on the ship. If we bring him to the mothership.
True.
The deal of keeping him alive. Yeah. All right. So, are you going to keep him with you on the Triaxis transport, or are you going to sequester him yet again with the pirates?
Well, if we don't bring him
we
along,
we should talk to him first because he might literally just escape and join us anyways.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. If he was able to get out once, he can get out again. Better to keep an eye on him than have him go wherever he wants.
Let's go talk to him.
All right. So you right now have him in the brig on your ship. So you go back to the Indecision. You're not on the Triaxis transport yet. We'll fast forward to that in a bit. And Mister is laying. I'm assuming you guys have him manacled in some way. So he's laying as comfortable as he can while manacled. And he's probably reading a book. I'm assuming you guys gave him some sort of reading material, and it's like a Kindle. It's not going to be.
Yeah, don't want him to go insane.
And as you all come, he kind of slides down his book face down quickly onto whatever sleeping mat you've given him. He attempts to cross his legs. It doesn't work because of the leg manacles. And he just settles for crossing his arms uncomfortably. And he says, well, welcome back to my personal chambers. How can I help you lovely, gentle beings this evening?
I just look at everyone else and go, why am I programmed to stay so far away from so many people?
What's her name? Kamira? How far away are you supposed to stay away from her?
Respectful distance.
You know, you don't have to listen to the programming. You can get as close to people as you'd like.
You don't know how computer programs work, do you?
-6? Isn't that a little too much?
-6. Okay, fine. -4 inches.
Hey.
Oh.
He's a robot now. It's Extendo,
5.5.
Like a Nick room.
like a Nick room.
Heyo.
Mr. Nods or points his chin at Rex, and Mr. For those who haven't met him before, is a purple-skinned drow with shocking orange hair, and he says, "Oi, what's with the shiny metal bits?"
Well, as you know, Rai Shorin is dead.
I killed him.
I don't think anyone told Mister that.
Oh
Would you
yeah,
guys have told
yeah.
Mr.
No,
that?
somebody,
that's
somebody
right, yeah.
did. No, somebody did, and he said, "Well, that sucks."
Yeah, he wasn't super infatuated with Rye. Rye actually wasn't his choice.
No, I think he likes Seeker.
I thought he liked Dren.
Yeah, he likes
Yeah.
He was
Dren.
kind of
Oh, is
feeling
it Dren?
Dren. Dren's got a lot of
Yeah.
things going on that Mister can use to his
A lot of good lubricant,
Taste.
apparently.
pre-looped. Come on. What else can you ask for in Mister's line of work? All right. Oh, so you needed a security blanket replacement for your corpse captain. Cool.
No,
Cool.
Not
he
our
made-
choice.
He
Should've
made
just
one.
zombified him.
Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't definitely wasn't our choice. But
Nope.
we're about to go. Oh, actually, no. What do we want to ask him about?
Zolan
Gurgurits.
Gurgurits.
Yeah. Go ahead. Ask.
All right. Well, we're about to go talk with Zolan Gurgurits, and wondering if you know anything about him that we might be able to use against him.
He gives a quick facial expression of maybe surprise. I'll say surprise mixed with a hint of displeasure. And he says, "Now, why would Zolan do something like that?"
I don't know. He said he wanted to make a deal
How's
because
about we just show him the message so that he has a better idea?
that's a good idea.
All right, you play the message, and it's an appeal. And when it's over, Mister's clicking his teeth to his tongue, tisking, tisk, tisk, tisk. Well, I suppose you could take him at face value and get riddled with holes and various laser blasts, or you could go in prepared. I will say I only worked with Zolan's people. I didn't really connect too much with the big man. His projects he didn't want to be seen having fingers in, so he passed it on to lackeys and the like. But I've heard he's a pretty big coward when you back him into a corner. That's actually how I believe Derlith press ganged him into service in the first place.
Ah, so he actually was press ganged.
Oh, let me be super clear. Coerced in a mild way. However, every bit of depravity that came from Eox and their antics since his overtaking, pure 100% Zolan. That dude is a freak. Love some of his programming. Honestly, best TV we've had in decades.
I
It's
can
not
take it or leave it.
manacles, but he pulls it off.
So we are about to disembark and head to the casino known as On the Turn.
Ooh, very fun place.
Yeah, actually it is. But actually, one of the questions that we were going to ask you were, we leave, you're probably going to put yourself on board our ship again anyways, right?
I don't know how to answer that. I don't want this to get awkward. You guys have been such swell hosts, and I really enjoy our time together. And being so close to you inside your ship does allow me to think about you with unfettered emotion. It's quite pleasant for me, actually.
I now understand why I'm programmed to keep a distance.
All right, I think we might as well bring him along because you got to follow us anyway.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind staying behind this time if you wanted a break. The
Well,
pirates.
your safety deal does expire once you leave the ship.
Or he
Oh.
just wants to run away.
He touches his nose and
Yeah.
if one of you wants to let me go, I can disappear and you'll never see me again.
I can make you never see it again.
I don't like that one at all. He reminds me of someone unsettling. Oof.
What do you guys think? He did. We did clear out his lab.
Ooh, you did visit my locker. Ooh, how was the drugs? Tell me all about them.
I thought we brought stuff in for you.
For me?
Yeah, I thought didn't we
Seeker,
go?
did you do all the drugs?
I did not do all. Yeah, not
Seeker.
yet, not yet.
I don't
Tell me
feel
the
like you
truth.
guys spoke with Mister last time. I
I
also
thought we
don't-
did bring some of his lab stuff in because he wanted it.
We
You
or
brought his
something.
lab stuff, but you didn't bring it to him.
No.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
you
that's where
took
we ended
basically
up.
everything in the stuff. He's just asking you how those drugs were.
True. Haven't taken them yet, honestly.
What? Try it right now. I'll watch. Please, I can. I
I've
can
got
help if you
stuff
do-
to do.
Well, imagine how much more stuff you get to do if you do it twice.
Dren is actually contemplating
Doing the
taking
drugs?
whatever it is before we're about to roll into this casino and how great of a time he might actually have.
Yeah,
Do a will check. Do a will check. See if you want to take them.
Do a Dren check.
Have you seen
Does
Fear and
Seeker need to do
Loathing
one?
on Abalon? It's pretty similar.
I got a 17. I'm good.
All right.
I was supposed
Oh.
to say, does Seeker need to do a Seeker check?
No,
Uh,
Seeker doesn't want to take the drugs right now. He's you know, he's had a chance to, but he just didn't want to.
All right. You want some useful intel? Tell you what, I'm not really looking to go on any more suicide missions with you guys. If you leave me with the pirates, I will do my best to not run away. And honestly, I'm not sure I'd be able to pull the same trick twice.
I've got an idea, Miller. And I
Yeah.
kind of go over and whisper in his ears. Get the electric shock collar.
Android / Yosoki, I kind of dig it.
Miller winks. I'm sorry. Phyllis winks.
Oof, that I do not like.
I thought he did like that. He didn't like Phyllis?
He loved
is
Phyllis.
slimy too.
He thought Phyllis was interesting.
It's
Yeah.
the wink that's unsettling. Everything else, it's fine, but the winking, that's got to stop.
Right. So do you put that on him?
Yeah.
Oh, ooh,
yeah,
necklace. Oh, my goodness. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. It's been a while.
Family show.
Gonna say he probably enjoys that.
All right. This is. Yeah,
You're-
it's so tight.
You're
And
welcome.
it also negates magic, right?
Yeah.
He didn't have any magic going, but he's not able to get any if he has it.
Can't get his
And
magic up.
can't get his magic up. So if he got away with magic, you've officially neutered him there. All right. Yeah. Again, happy to stay with your pirates. If you want to put me on some special projects, I can help you out.
I can still make him disappear.
Special projects.
Kind of like what I was helping your boy Zolan with.
I kind of like the idea. We can at least use you. He is kind of smart.
That's true. And we do have his lab equipment, by the way.
We do have his lab equipment.
Oh, that's my backup lab equipment.
Right.
Well, where's your actual stuff? Because I mean, you're not there now, are you?
I don't want to get too in detailed, but I have my own ship that's a little bigger than this one, and it's got my full state-of-the-art facilities.
Welcome to the fleet.
Oh, acquiring it would be quite challenging as I left it at Absalom Station.
I'm just saying that if you're going to run away to anywhere and you wanted your lab equipment, if you ran back to our ship, it's there.
I see. All right. Well, again, not super thinking I'm going to be escaping again from your pirate friends. I'm now willing to do indentured service until you let me go, or give me conjugal visits, whichever comes first.
I'll keep
We're
it.
all looking at Dren.
No, okay. It's funny you say that because Dren was gonna look at everybody else to see what their decision was. I could judge them for whatever they picked.
And everyone just looks right at
Well, Dren, if you're not willing to take one to the team, we'll keep you in mind there, mister.
you. Haven't asked me what project I worked on for Zolan.
Yeah, what project did you work on for Zolan?
Now, I was
Good
only
call, voice in the sky.
I was one of the specialists, and I wasn't one of their more refined ones. I was working on some background chemicals to help enhance a process they were working on. I don't know what the end result was, but they were exposing corpses repeatedly to the drift. Might be the same corpse repeatedly sent to and from the drift. It might be a batch of corpses. I saw a lot of bodies that were used during it. It looked like most of the cast-offs from their game shows, and there are a lot. It was a great season. Did I say that already? Loved it. So good.
The finale was really great, though. You gotta
Finale's my
give it to
favorite
them.
part.
Did whatever you process turn into some type of black goo?
Oh no, you're talking. Don't worry about that. That's a different project.
Because
That's
isn't
more-
that actually like
Oh,
a
I still
spider
have that.
crawling on that?
Yeah, I still
secret?
have that.
Oh, I thought you just got some real ink. Really? You're gonna want to get that looked at there, Gus.
Yeah, you told me that.
Oh, all right. We had this conversation. I thought so. I'm getting a little stir crazy here in this room. All I'm saying is he had a team of necromancers that were his project leads. Those were the unsavory fellows, you know, the Alibrians with the long heads and the bony faces. I'm not saying I didn't take a couple down during, but their necromantic tendencies did unsettle the bones a little bit. Not just mine, also the bones that were on these ships being sent to and from the drift. I'm not exactly sure what he was trying to do, but I'm not sure how familiar you are with drift and what it's been known to do to folks that have been deceased. If I had to guess, he's looking to create some special variety of undead. And I don't think he's looking to make some cousins, if you know what I mean.
How does that work out with bodies that are in pieces?
Well,
We didn't release him in the
and blown to smithereens.
we didn't release him in the drifts. I don't think.
Yeah, we did.
I thought you blew him up as well, though. I have a very
Yeah,
clear.
Well,
we
that's
did
why
blow
I'm
him up.
asking.
Yeah.
Oh no. That's well, I mean, it depends on how many pieces. I guess how big they are. I mean, some of the more ghosty apparitions from the drift will just kind of pick up the parts and put them together as necessary. But you know, not everyone that dies in the drift comes back. I wouldn't worry about that. It's just whatever they were trying to do. I wasn't there when it happened, if it happened, but I know he was working on it. I was involved with a little bit. I did some chemical work in the background to try and you know, get the bones ready to go.
All right.
Pick me up.
Well,
Uh,
what kind of project do you want to work on?
what are your feelings on chemical warfare? I got this really, really nasty one that I think if I introduced it just right into maybe a small space station or something like that, we could cultivate into a full-on planet cleanser.
How
It-
about any type of
There you
non-addictive, like combat enhancement or stimulants?
oof. You're looking at the wrong drow. I strictly worked in things that get you addicted AF. My stuff is
Well.
effective, but you will love how effective it is a little too much. That's the Mr. Guarantee.
How about this? Can you develop a strain that is only addictive to the undead?
Ooh.
No, that's not how the undead work. They don't really respond well to my chemicals. I was mostly working on the putrefaction aspect of their bodies and perseverance. They don't get addicted to things like that. Trust me,
All right.
I've tried.
Can you?
They're
uh,
immune. Undead are actively immune to things like that. It's
Alright.
part of the character type or creature type.
So moving on. Can you figure out anything to reverse the process of the re-dead?
Oh yeah, you smash him in the head a couple times.
All right. Oh, so that goes that. Oh,
Well,
How bad? How
give
bad
me
are we
an example.
talking?
I never saw the final project, so I'm working with too many variables here. Bring me back a sample, and I'll see if I can do a wham bam. Thank you, ma'am.
How about a
Addic-
phylactery? Would that help?
Not with what you're asking me, but I could certainly do some damage with a phylactery.
I mean, could you maybe come up with a way to just full on, I don't know, just disintegrate an undead using your chemicals? If you had a phylactery?
Or control him?
Oh, that's actually I like where you're going with that. I could do a creeping acid bomb, maybe. I think I use some nanites or parasites, give them the right little bit of sizzle. We might have something there. I like the way you think. You're a sick android. We can hang out sometime. I don't know if you knew this, but I'm here all the time. Day and especially night.
Noted.
All right. So, do you want to give him the phylactery then, Justin?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, what are we doing with it? Nothing.
Looking at-
Bargaining chip.
Yeah.
Aragon
is a
and
bargaining
Renegade often
chip,
show
yeah.
up for Seeker.
Whose phylactery is this?
Oh, Saltazar, actually.
Saltazar. You mean
We found it.
well then?
What is this
Hold on,
current?
wait a second. What is it? Insight? Sense motive?
Sense motive.
Can we all
Yeah.
do like? Can
Yeah.
we all, I don't like the way he's.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Is
sure
it
we all
bargaining
caught
chip
on.
for him? Yeah, I got a 9.
I got
Man, it would be great if you guys still had Rye.
23.
It would. I got a +0, so I got a
Nat
nat
20.
20 though.
I did not. He's definitely got something in mind immediately. There's something he's clearly thinking of. So he's definitely not telling you what that is at this point. You can feel free to ask him about it, but he has clearly something has crossed his mind.
You seem a little suspicious once we mentioned that.
Honey,
Anything
I
you'd like
am
to
always suspicious.
That's
That is
very
my
true.
calling. I go by the name of Mister.
Right, but right now you are a disgraced Gerson Sphere, for lack of better terms, lackey, and
Please, freelance work. If
freelance
that's
lackey. Okay. Well, I mean, if we put this phylactery in your hand, you
that,
now
put it
have
wherever
a
you want. It's what's the shape of it?
Yep. But once we give it to you, you now have a bargaining chip for our friend Saltazar. Right? Is that what you're thinking?
No. I'm wondering how much you all want to hang with your best friend Saltazar again.
What,
That's-
can you summon him with it or something?
No, I'll just fucking kill him. No, you misunderstand. I use his soul to kill his mortal form. I don't have to kill the soul to do this. Listen, we're talking about some things that are a bit magical in nature and outside my normal purview. But you get me in touch with a couple buddies or leave me with a nice mystic or two. I think we can cook up a nice little cocktail for our boy that shuts down whatever corpse he's rolling in now. And do you all know what happens to a lich or lich type once their body has expired?
Not really.
Oop.
They're revived near their phylactery.
Well, I think right now he actually is in some dire straits because
I did see him in the video. Yes,
you saw that.
Did you want to take away one of Zolan's bargaining chips?
I mean, he could also be an ally for us. He did offer to be an ally.
Well, I mean, they're all terrified of re-death.
Didn't
Yeah.
he just did what? He's looking at like a space in the wall where you see that he has made a face like Wilson in Castaway, right? And
Yes.
he says, didn't Saltazar kill one of their crew members? Yeah, I
Some
thought so
like
too.
bug or something. I don't know.
Whatever. I mean, all's fair in love and war and banging, so I'm good with whatever.
But
What is Rex's disposition towards your cat?
Well,
That is who they were just talking about.
Rex never met
which
your
Rex?
cat.
you, Rex.
Rex.
Yeah, but I assume it was programmed in, is what I was getting at.
Yeah, programmed in as a hero who is always to be respected.
And what do you think about what they literally just talked about? He wasn't paying attention.
No. Talked to Wilson on the wall. Didn't blah 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 blah. Yeah. So, I mean, Rex is very clear about wanting to kill Saltazar and all of the others involved. So he'd support a plan that would kill Saltazar as long as
Mister.
Mister. Thank you. How come
I
I keep forgetting that name?
Oh, I was actually in character. Mister.
Oh, as long as it doesn't mean that Mister goes free.
I like your idea. Right now, he's using Saltazar as a bargaining chip. If we take his bargaining chip, we have more leverage.
I don't understand how Saltazar is a bargaining chip for us. We don't
need
want
to
him.
kill him yet. We can
Right.
still make
Well,
contact and
The
then
idea is he
But
wants
he
to
will
give us
die.
Saltazar. He wants to give us Saltazar so that we can kill him and, I don't know, resolve any of you guys' petty revenge or whatever. I don't know.
Was that actually it? Was that actually what he said?
Pretty much.
Actually, out of character, was that what he
It
said?
was-
I can't actually.
I believe it was mostly inferred. Someone
Yeah.
you wanted, and he has them basically.
Right.
Okay.
He is assuming revenge would motivate you. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. Which,
because I mean, like, if we do, hear me out. I know he's done plenty of bad things, but if we do save Saltazar, I mean, that could turn him into an actual ally that doesn't have a sort of,
I don't know. As
Program
far-
to make sure that he dies as many times as is possible.
as
we
far
can
as
give
I-
Mr. the Phylactery, go down, hear them out. Worst case scenario, Saltazar dies.
And now he's on board with Mista.
Oh,
I suggest
yeah, right.
As far as I'm
suggest
concerned,
we
Oh.
wait on that.
yeah. As far as I'm
Agreed.
concerned, I don't trust any of the Eoxians as far as I can
Oh.
smell them.
which means we
absolutely
also
not.
can't leave the phylactery wherever Mister is.
But I
Why
imagine.
don't we give it to Terry?
I
Seems
imagine
reliable.
that Saltazar is not in a very good position at the moment.
No,
Locked
he's
in a
not.
safe.
He seems comfortable enough.
He was
Uh,
willing to. He was willing to
Oh,
kind
okay.
of, help us out before, obviously with his own interests in mind.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have a bargaining chip over him in that we have his phylactery, and we can also save him from being tortured forever by Gurguritz.
Can I
Yeah.
chime in?
Yeah.
Now, so let's say, whatever, maybe you remove me a step from the process. I'm happy to oversee some more magical oriented folk. Got to be a bit powerful. What we're talking about is some soul magic. But we can maybe do some recursive stuff. We have his soul. That's the essence of his being. We could probably kill his corpse by maybe just burning his soul away a little bit. I'm sure it'll get better. He pops in. If we have his, the actual term for the phylactery, although phylactery, by the way, is way better, is an I lost it again. Whatever. We'll just,
Horcrux.
It's like an encephalon.
yeah, whatever. We'll go. I
something.
like phylactery anyways. We'll call it phylactery going forward. So we put his phylactery in a magical dampened room, which we can activate at will. They've got plenty of setups for that. Kinky fetish chambers, things like that.
Yeah.
And so he pops up with a new body after a couple days of we destroying his current body. We flip the switch so there ain't no magic in that room, and we got your boy locked in a padded room. And if
Okay.
you wanna shoot him every third day of the week, there, my robotic unsettling friend, we can definitely work with that because we have his soul. He just grows back on a couple of days.
I like it.
It's actually it's kind of fun as long as you can get past the whole super powerful magic, which is problematic a little bit. It's otherwise a great time. So
I
why
like
don't
it.
you here? Let me wear the pants for a little while. I'll take them off later if any of you'd like.
We all could
Maximum distance.
You drop me. You drop me off with your pirate friend. I like the little hairless one. I felt a kinship with him. And I will allow them to lock me a little bit better in whatever place they're planning on locking me. Again, I seduced the guard last time. Don't think that's going to work again. So I will probably be safely ensconced wherever you need me. I will work with them to help design a room that will dampen any magic. We can work on finding some appropriate mystics. I know some folks back home who would be a choice for this job. And in fact, I think they'd enjoy doing it. Saltazar had a couple of drow on his show, and he wasn't super kind. He kept yelling
Gotcha.
some shit about some weird, I don't know. He was all about drow being great warriors, and they always gave him 2 swords and told him to go nuts, and it never panned out. So not super, happy about this dude. And well, we'll work on it. Give me a couple weeks, and maybe we'll have a little bit of our own shake and bake. So I guess what I'm saying is, don't worry if you get Saltazar in the deal or not. Maybe we can't get him today, but we'll get him later.
I like the sound of it.
I agree. Actually, that's not a bad idea.
Make it so.
Yeah, I get it, Wally. They are really easy to kind of convince to do things, but that's my favorite thing about them, and that's including the lubricated one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Wally thinks you guys are swell.
Thanks, Wally.
Yeah.
He wasn't in there that long.
I believe it was a total of
week?
no, you guys were on Triaxis for a bit, so it's probably been about 2 to 3 weeks.
All right.
So I at that like 19th mention of the lubricant thing, I look over to my right, take some goo off of Dren, look at my elbow, it squeaks a little bit.
Told you that stuff works like magic.
Updating programming. He is useful for something.
Does Dren know that you've been harvesting this goo from him for the ship?
It's
He
been
doesn't
left
need
everywhere.
to. He leaves it everywhere.
That's fair.
And Miller, I mean, it's in my backstory. Miller is extremely clean. He carries a cleaning kit with him at all times.
I still have the little vacuum, by the way.
I remember
You
the
just took
time
it
that
with you.
Sometimes
I remember. Oh,
sometimes Sobernaut will be seen dragging his face across the floor with his tongue out, lapping up the saliva, the slime. But
Ooh, you got me there.
disgusting saliva. So it's just like his big goblin head.
You got me there for a second. Yeah.
I might be leaving right away.
But yeah,
It's not a
let's
maybe.
make this so. We have 2 minutes, and I really have to go to the bathroom. So let's.
Okay.
Yep.
You guys have set up Mister with a project. This is one of those things that can run in the background with your pirate gang. If you have any other projects you would like to pitch to the pirate gang, or feel like you can do something in the greater verse with this militant force, feel free to use it. Otherwise, I'll give some very small things in the background where basically they're supplying themselves. They're getting better weapons. They'll have like a routine of upgrades that just happen over time if you do nothing with them. Feel free to pitch me that in Discord or over our hangouts.
I
and we can talk about it later
I
in the
got a few
show.
things already. Remind me later.
No, that's fine. I will. We'll talk about it. And then next episode, you will be leaving the Diaspora. Well, actually, you'll be leaving the Resistance group, and you'll be traveling further into the Diaspora to On the Turn. We are going to start next turn as you arrive at. Next Starfinder 2 weeks from today, arriving at On the Turn, because we got through literally a single sentence of the notes I prepared for tonight's episode.
Woo! New record.
Yeah, that actually might be a new record. Literally, it says, first, at Pirates, Justinian demands to know if what the Triumvirate are saying is true and Rye is dead. That was my notes we got through today.
Nice.
Well, we made a bunch of plans, you know.
I'm not
We
mad about it.
set
I
things
think
up
there's a
in
lot
the
of good stuff
future.
that comes from this, but I'm ready for On the Turn because I got
Yeah.
something for you guys to do. But now
Yeah.
that we're going to be there at the beginning of the episode, maybe I'll work in some gambling if anyone's interested.
Yeah.
Also, for those of you who watched the one background stream we did where we did a bunch of world building and made NPCs, some of those NPCs are confirmed going to be at On the Turn. So
Not some of them,
all
all
of
of
them.
them.
All of them. Even the anti-right.
even the anti-Rye. The anti-Rye might actually have my favorite role so far, mostly because it doesn't involve interaction with you idiots. So it's a
perfect.
safe character for me.
I still don't know what these are.
Yeah, that's okay.
You'll find out.
My favorite is going to be the walrus, though.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh,
I would play that
the walrus.
character.
I know, right?
I want to play that
So
character.
Seeker has to die.
Yep.
Yep.
I might just have you voice the walrus for next Starfinder episode. Then I can give you some general notes. I'm fine with that.
Oh, jeez.
He's a background character, but he's
Gee.
going to be present.
Gee.
She?
Yeah.
Give me a gender. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's definitely in there.
Cuckoo, Kachu, the bardic Morlamau. It ain't over till the fat walrus sings. Songs are generally when she sings. Okay, I missed it. It's like 3 sentences in as to when her gender pops up. All right, fine. Okay, yeah, we'll have a psychedelic walrus next time. That's a promise. All right.
Oh, I think that's when Dren's gonna have a good time.
Yeah, Adek in the chat says you guys are trying to make the campaign last forever. I promise we have about 10 episodes left, and then you make this episode last forever. Again, not mad about it. We set up some good stuff, and I don't need as much prep time for that. You've got Octurn as a mission, potentially, if you guys don't just shit on Zero. We've got the upcoming on the turn, and then if that actually sorts out your Gurgurit's problem, you really only have a Durlic person left. So I'm happy with the time we have. Unless I pull any weird. There's actually a secret boss, but who knows? For tonight, though, I'm going to say thank you, everyone, for watching. Remember, we're doing the after party right after for those of us that are staying. And listeners, thank you for listening. I guess I don't really give you guys that enough. Our audio is still some of our best views, so thank you guys so much. For now, next week's going to be a variety stream, and I have no idea what we're doing. Hang out on Discord to figure out what that is, or on Twitter at NSTPcast. And until next week, just remember, folks, never split the party.
Yeah, Patrick.
Yeah,
Go to the
Pat.
bathroom.
I didn't.
Right.
Will.
He split himself in half.
He didn't. But I do gotta go.